Hi, I'm Danielle, and welcome back to my channel where I talk about whatever it is I feel like. And today is another episode of my series, We Have Makeup at Home, the series where I kind of evaluate a new makeup launch and decide whether or not I want to buy it or whether or not I can create something with it with the makeup that I have at home. And today is going to be based off the Legends of Korra and Lethal Cosmetics collection, specifically the two palettes, Vatu and Rava. So I'm kind of recreating a look that uses both of them because something about these palettes is that they are designed to magnetically connect to each other to create a complementary color story. That's what it says on the website. It celebrates the brave balance between darkness and light for those who understand that presence and volume are not the same thing. The palette that I'm specifically really leaning towards is the Rava palette. The Rava palette is the more teal blue color story. It looks so pretty. I tried to create a color story that worked with both of them together in a way. So if you're watching this and you're kind of wanting to get both, you can, see what you have. So both of these palettes retail for $39. And without further ado, I'm going to get into the palette dupes, not dupes, but palettes that I have that I think will give me the same vibe. And then afterwards, we're going to go into this look that I created with those palettes. So these are the 4 palettes that I picked that I felt I could kind of create something similar to the Legend of Korra color story. I tried to go with more smaller curated palettes rather than a big like 36, 52 color story, just because I felt as though that's what you want. And it's kind of a cop out to just grab the biggest palette you have. Like, of course you can recreate something with a large palette. I wanted a more smaller color story. So the palette that I have with the most colors is 20. I didn't want to go higher than that, especially because we're comparing based off of 2 9-pans. So I figured if we had like 18, that would be kind of, the same vibes if you were to get both. I don't know. So the first palette that I decided on was the Drops of Fantasy palette from Day Day Signature. It looks like this. It's really pretty. And the reason that I picked it, I'm going to have the Legend of Korra palette over on this side. But the reason I picked it was because of these brighter tones right here. These bright tones really reminded me of the like kind of almost neon-y, fluorescent-y, tealy greens that I was really gravitating towards. Plus the shimmers, I think those two in particular looked really pretty and I felt would go. Same with this purple. I felt as though it was a nice warm tone purple to kind of go with the cool tone purple here, which doesn't always happen, the mixing of warms and cools. Obviously, the entire palette I don't think is a dupe, but those couple shades are giving me vibes that I think really align with what I want to do with the Legend of Korra palette. The next one that I have is the Witch's Familiar palette. This is from Fantasy Cosmetica. It was a collaboration with Batty Bean, the content creator. And this palette, if you get rid of this red row, I feel as though this little 9-pan situation here is if those 2 Korra palettes had a baby. Like, these 9, it's kind of the best of both worlds for the 18 from the other palette. You know what I mean? It has the nice teal, it has the nice darker blue, it has the purples, it has multi-chromes that kind of correspond with everything. So that's exactly what I thought. Obviously, if you have this palette, go ahead, add red to it. I've never seen Legends of Korra or Avatar. I'm sorry. I've never seen either, but I don't know, add in red if you want. But I just really thought that looking at the palette like this was a perfect mix of the two. And you'll see when I do this eyeshadow look that I dipped into this palette quite a bit. The next one is the largest one, and that's the Ocean Jewel palette from Bella Beauté Bar. This one's really pretty. And again, I feel as though this is a good mix of the 2 palettes together. This is 20 pans, so of course there's some extra shades, especially this row here. But, Right here, we're getting those nice purpley tones. We're getting the nice bright kind of greeny teals right here. Almost if you ignore this side too. Like, there's a lot of ignoring you have to do for this to be perfect, but you know what I mean. Ignore this, plus ignore this, and I think this little section here is pretty good for both palettes together. So I do also use this one when I kind of create my look today as well. Last but not least is Harvest of Souls from Fantasy Cosmetica. They got 2 palettes in this little recreation. Good for them. Obviously, you can see where my head is at in terms of which palette I really want, because I really focused on the like teals and greens. But this palette looks really pretty. It's pretty in general. But again, if you get rid of this little corner here, I feel as though these kind of encompass the vibe of the 2 palettes together. Once again, we have purples that are warm and cool toned, which I think is perfect for the purple palette. The blue palette has the nice kind of minty pastel, almost neon looking greeny teals, some depth. The shimmers look really pretty. So yeah, I think this was another one that I feel would really, if you had this palette, you could definitely recreate a look for both of the Legend of Korra palettes using just this one. Those are my ideas, and without further ado, I'm going to show you how I created this look that I feel as though really encompasses both of the palettes together. And then, of course, we're going to give my verdict on whether or not I want to get them. And as I've said before, the scale is yes, it's already in my cart. Yes, but I'm going to wait until like maybe a sale or maybe a couple more weeks to see if I'm still really fancying it, or no, I don't need this palette. So without further ado, let's see how I created this look. It's really pretty. I can't stop staring. I have so much primer on my eyes. I'm actually not even sure what I'm prepping for at this point. But anyway, my plan is to kind of do something that utilizes both palettes. I want to do that pretty seafoamy, greenish, tealy aqua color on this eye, and then the purple on this eye, and use the same shimmer for both so that it's cohesive. Plus, I have a bunch of gems. I'll show you from the back so you can see all the colors. I have a bunch of gems that I want to use to kind of, you know, add a little extra spice, because why not? So yeah, let's get started. I think this potion shade right here from the Witch's Familiar palette is going to be an absolutely perfect starting point. So I'm going to pop that on this eye. I'm going to use the mirror as well. Okay, so that's the first color laid down. I'm actually going to start on the purple side as well. Like I'm going to build these two at the same time rather than finish one eye and then the other eye. And same palette, I'm going to go into this cauldron shade right here. Same thing, just applying this color in the crease. Nice. Ooh, that's really pretty. Oh, I love it already. Okay, now I'm going to deepen the teal side first. Yeah, we're just going to stick in the same palette. We're going to go into this feline shade, this really pretty dark blue tone. It's gorgeous. Oh, that's fabulous. That is stunning. Oh, I love that color. I'm just blending with the first shade to make sure everything is nice and blended. And I think that's pretty good. Same thing on the other side, not the same color. I think I actually want to grab this shade. This is from Harvest of Souls from Fantasy Cosmetica. Wow, they really came up with a great color story. I want to use this Sacrifice just because I think the Avatar palette is a lot warmer. And right now this is leaning a little bit cool. So I want to add more of a warm purple. Oh, that's a really pretty color. That's so gorgeous. I'm just blending with that first purple shade to make sure everything is nice and cohesive. But this already looks amazing. Oh, that's gorgeous. That is stunning. I love it. I'm a little torn on what I want to do for shimmer. I do think I want to go into the Drops of Fantasy palette. I don't know if I want to go into this one or this one. Let's see. I do know I want them to be the same shimmer. Ooh. They look so similar. The first one, I think, this one just has a little bit more yellow into it. That leans it a little bit green. So I think, but I use that color all the time. Actually, it doesn't matter because I can still use that color all the time. This will just be one more time I use that color. We're going into Poptastic Vibes here from Day Day Signature. Their Drops of Fantasy palette. And I'm not going to be sorry because this is a really pretty color. Oh my gosh. I just need a second. It's so freaking pretty. Oh, that is so pretty. I'm trying to make sure you can see it in all the lights. That is stunning. Right now, this is really pretty. I made sure to kind of blend the outer corners over the shimmer. And what I think I want to do is use my rhinestones to kind of add like this teal elements to the purple side and purple elements to the green side so that it's even more of a marriage of colors. So it doesn't look like I just did two separate things. I'm going to use this kind of color. And I have a purple one right here I'm going to use on the other side of my eye. So just as a side note, if you're someone who really wants to experiment with gems and rhinestones and other things like that, I would highly recommend getting a wax stick like this. Mine looks a little crazy, but I promise it's okay. Because it makes it super duper easy to pick up the gem just on the flat side, and then you can easily just, you know, pop it onto your eye. Let's see what we come up with right now. Oh, I have the green ones out, so I need to start on this side. Ugh, I shouldn't have done that. I really should. I really want to start on the green side. Let's start in the center. It's a very good place to start. One gem center of the eye. Okay, and we're off. I like that, just like a little liner type of situation. Let me grab some gems to do the other side. I still have two of these teal ones out, so I'm probably going to put that on the lower lash line once the rest of my eye is done. I'm going to do the same thing to this eye, make this kind of wing shape that I'm going to put my lashes on, and I'll show you what it looks like before I do my foundation. I picked some pretty huge lashes, and I think that's why I wanted the wing to be up so high, the bejeweled wing. But that's how it's looking so far. So I'm going to do my base, and then I'll come back so we can do the lower lash line together. Look at this. So I'm going to deepen up the lower lash line with purple on purple, dark blue teal on dark blue teal. While on the lid, I tend to go from lightest to darkest. On the lower lash line, I'll go from darkest to lightest because I want to make sure it's appropriately like smoked out, basically. Love this color. It's so pretty. Okay, that looks really pretty. So I think to kind of draw these together even more, I'm actually going to put something in my waterline today, like this. Blue on purple, purple on teal. Ooh, I'm looking at myself from afar and I love it. Last but not least, we're going to do the inner corner. So I think I'm going to use this pale purple shade for the blue eye. And then part of me wants to use this green. But what I'm probably going to end up doing is using... Oh, wait. Does this have a lighter blue? Maybe this one? Because that'll be light enough to go there. Basically same thing where purple goes on teal and teal goes on purple. I think I'm just going to add one gem to each lower lash line. Nice. So that is the eyes done. It looks so beautiful. Let me just finish up the rest of my makeup. I just have a couple final touches to do, and then we will go back and give my final thoughts on these palettes. Alrighty, so that is my Lethal Cosmetics Legends of Korra look. I really, really love how this turned out. The purple, the like teal tone, the sparkle, it's all really, really pretty. And I guess my final verdict on this palette is, yes, I already bought it actually. Of the two, I bought the like teal bluish color story more so rather than the purple. I didn't need both. I just wanted that like really bright kind of pastel, almost neon-y tones. Those were the ones that really drew me in. And yeah, I ended up buying the palette while I was recreating this look actually. But I really do enjoy how it turned out. So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time I have something else to talk about. Bye.